like to call the Town of Clinton Planning Board virtual meeting to order on Tuesday, July 21st, 2020 at 7:32 p.m. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic and pursuant to Executive Order number 202.1 issued on March 12th, 2020, suspending the open meetings law and emergency state and federal bans on large meetings or gatherings. The Town of Clinton Planning Board scheduled for July 12th, scheduled for July 21st, 2020 will be held electronically via Zoom instead of a public meeting open for the public to attend in person. Members of the public may view the board meeting as it is live streamed on YouTube, www.townofclinton.com/government/planning-board-video-. The transcript of the meeting will be posted on the town's website at a later date. First item on the agenda is the Fischetti variance. Is anybody here for that?
Bob, you're muted.
He's not that tech savvy. He's learning it. Bob, do you know where to control? Can he hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
There you go.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. All right. This is the first step in a two-part to get your variance. The planning board, which you are in front of right now, will give a recommendation to the zoning board of appeals. It will be a positive, negative, or neutral recommendation. And then you will appear before the zoning board of appeals, and they will make the final decision on the variances that you have requested. Can you just briefly explain what you're doing and the variances that you want?
Well, I want to put a house on the property and later on convert the pavilion into a carport and small garage. Variances. I think you need an acre in that area, and this only comes up 0.76 acres.
Okay, so this is it's a substandard lot. Paul?
Yeah, so actually the acreage wasn't referred to us, and I don't think we need a variance for that, because the zoning law says you can build on a, I hope you guys can hear me okay. You can build on a substandard lot as long as all the other requirements of the zoning law are met. So I don't think you need a variance for the acreage. And
Hello? Hello?
Yes? Hello?
So that the variances that the two that were referred, one is for the rear setback for the new house, which will be 22 feet from the rear property line when 50 is required. So that is a required variance. And then the other referral was for a variance saying that the pavilion, which is already there, is supposed to be subordinate to the principal residence, and citing to 250-29B, which As I understand it, it's a pavilion. Maybe Bob can just clarify, but it's a pavilion. It's not a living space. And so I don't see why 250-29B would apply. That applies to accessory dwellings. This is just an accessory structure. So I don't read, I don't see any need for the second variance that was referred. I think really all we're dealing with is the rear setback variance.
Okay, so if we're standing on Hollow Road, looking at the pavilion, we're gonna call that the front, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, and the back is 22 feet, and then minimum side distance, from what I understand on your printout, is 50 feet from the sideline?
Yeah, I think you have that.
Well, I do, but this hasn't been engineered yet, and Board of Health approved. I mean, this is just a rough mock-up. I want to know if I can get a building permit for it. If I can, then I'll have the lot engineered, Board of Health approved. I'll have, meet all the setbacks, all that type of stuff.
Well, I'm just going by the drawing that we have. So the drawing shows the house. It's not in any setback except for the rear setback, which is a 50 foot, and it shows it at about 22 feet. So if you were going to build a house where it is on the map right now, you would need a variance for that rear setback. You would not need a variance for the front or the sides. And one other thing is the house is proud of the pavilion, which is good. That's also a requirement. So you're good there. So if you were going to put it where it is on the map right now, you would just need the rear setback. But I mean, we can't give you a hypothetical ruling. You'd have to sort of show us, you'd have to show us exactly where this is going to go in order for us to give you a variance. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, this says, okay, that's the side yards. On the RH 1 acre, it says rear is 10 feet. Minimum parking setback.
No, that's parking.
Okay.
You need yard.
Paul, can I say something, Paul? Paul, can you hear me?
I guess. Yeah.
Paul?
Yes.
So since the pavilion was there first, before the house is being built, that's why the second variance is called for, because you have to
No, it's not.
before we did this before with the zoning board. We gave a variance because the the garage was there before the house, as like the garage is like a structure. It's an accessory structure. It's called accessory, like pavilion.
Fine. Somebody tell me what provision in the zoning law says you can't do it.
I don't know. That's why this.
I don't think there's anything. I can tell you right now, it's not 250-29. That's for dwellings. This is not a dwelling, so
Yeah,
it's got to be a different section. So I didn't see anything anywhere that says you need a.
Okay, I've got a couple of questions and a statement on this. Paul, are we okay? I don't have any dimensions on that pavilion. If so, are we okay on a approximately 1,100 square foot house and the pavilion? Because I don't see any dimensions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The dimensions of the pavilion are 24 by 48 exactly. 24 foot wide by 48 foot long.
So it's listed in the, yeah, so it's listed on the property card, I think at 1100 or something. 1150, so that sounds about right, doesn't it?
Yeah, the
Listed
house,
1152.
Actually, it's less than that, but.
Okay. I don't have I'm on a cell phone, so I'm not,
48 is 1152.
yeah, okay. So, and the house, the footprint of the house, Bob, is like 800 and something square feet, right?
Yes. Well,
but we have the upstairs. That is,
right. So it's,
Yeah, but you're just looking for the coverage, so just the footprint.
yeah,
Here's what I would, it looks like the ZEO did the calculation in the notes because somebody has calculated the square footage of
okay.
the lot, and then they've taken the 12%, and I'm trying to find the note, but it's like 4,939 square feet is allowed.
Okay,
So almost 5,000 square feet.
so he's has no problem here with that. Okay.
It looked like, yeah, so Art, it looked like he did that, yeah, exactly.
My other thing is that, as you said, Paul, that we don't have a firm location for where the applicant wants to put the house. So I don't see how we can do anything until we, until we get a firm location.
Where's the location?
Right. Well, Bob just said he's not sure.
Board of Health approval, yes, because it's not Board of Health approved yet.
Well, I mean, we just went through that we haven't engineered it and we haven't decided on the exact location of the house, so.
well, that's gonna be pretty darn close to where the house is going. The thing, I have no problem, engineering the lot and Board of Health approving it, but that's gonna be a considerable amount of money. If you're gonna let me build on it, I have no problem doing that and then coming back. But it'd be silly to waste all that money and then get turned down for a building permit.
Well, I guess I can only speak for myself. So I think if we're talking just about this rear setback and let's say you come back and it turns out it's really 21 feet in the setback, it's 21 feet from the property line or 23, I personally am not going to have a problem with it, but I can't speak for the rest of this board and we can't speak for what the ZBA will do. So it's hard for us to say it's going to be okay until we see, have some idea what the final plan will be. But, I understand your conundrum. I get that. We can't give a sort of, we can't give a hypothetical approval until we know kind of where it's going to be. Because if you move it to one side, let's say, and we haven't, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you can get yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody's gonna have an issue if this house moves around a little bit. It's in the general area where you've got it, but you move it a couple feet one way or the other. I don't think anybody's gonna have an issue with that. But we would want to see it kind of, basically where it's gonna go, so we can give you the final, approval or the final recommendation. Because right now, I don't think you can go to the ZBA right now. If you go in there and say, I'm not sure exactly where it's going, I'm not sure they're going to give you, I don't know, Arlene, you might know better. I don't know if they're going to give you a variance based on.
Well, the Department of Health will normally work on with the engineering where it's going to be the leach field, the well, and the septic, and then they normally designate the building envelope. So, I mean, normally, let's say that portion over here, the proposed house will be the building envelope, then it's going to be play over there, and then Bob, you could probably explain to the Department of Health that you have the variance for this. I mean, I don't know, it's like a catch-22. So it's normally you go to the Department of Health, but I think the applicant is concerned. He doesn't want to spend money for the Board of Health approval, engineering wise, if he's not going to get a variance. So
I mean, can you get kind of a general conceptual plan of where the house can go and just make a decision and then come back with a, you know, where it's not all engineered out, but at least they tell you kind of where it can go?
Well, I'd have to talk to Tom Cummings about that, but then I'm gonna have to have it engineered. I mean, you really don't have a problem with a house going up there. I mean, I'll spend the $4,500 to have it engineered and Board of Health approved and do all the deep tests, and then I can give you, an exact layout, topo survey. I have to have all that redone too.
Well, to the rest of the board, don't we just need where the house is gonna be? The Board of Health approval and septic, that comes later with his building permit. But in order to give him a variance, we just need basically where this house is gonna be, a building envelope. I mean, I don't think, I don't know if necessarily if you have to spend all that money, if you're, if Cummings can give you a building envelope. I think that
Right.
might satisfy.
That's all we need, really.
Well, where the proposed house is pretty much where it's gonna go. I mean,
let me just give
I
you,
don't know.
let me give you a history of
Go
this
ahead.
property. So I think his concern is because this lot always has the pavilion. This pavilion received a variance in 1985. You want to give the history, Bob? You did your research about this. There was the
yes,
original
I have all that.
that got burned down, and then this pavilion was built in 1985. So, and it's been used as a pavilion, but then of course it lost the use already. So there's all that question. So now he want to make it a
Well, maybe Bob, I mean, if you want to commit to this location, we can give the recommendation that 22 feet, you can get your variance, and if you have to move the house, the variance isn't going to be good anymore. Well, if you are more non-conforming than the variance, then the variance isn't going to help you. You know what I'm saying? If you move the house closer to the back, you'll have to come back. But if you move it away from the rear, then I think you're okay. I mean, I guess we could do that. I mean, if you say this is where it's going to go, right?
Yes, it won't,
Then he
it
can
won't,
just do it again.
it won't be any
Yeah.
closer than 22 feet. I'll keep that the same.
Okay.
Might go a little closer to the pavilion if I can go into the bank. That's the only thing that might vary, but I got plenty of room on the side. It's going to be more than 50 feet, so I don't have to worry about that. But there is rock
Okay,
there,
so
that's pretty darn close. You're
So we
saying
could
just don't change the 22 feet.
well, so we could write it as we recommend. Well, my view would be it's a positive for 22-foot variance from the rear. If you got that from the ZBA, you're good. But if you move the house back, closer, then you're not good. And if you move it away, I think you're still good because they gave you 22 feet.
Okay,
my
that's
view.
fine.
You would tell them everything. You would tell them everything that you're doing, and if they don't want to do it that way, they don't have to. But I think we can move you along to the next. The more I think about it, I think we can. You're not going to move it side to side. Even if you do, you don't have an issue with the variance. So I think we can give you the recommendation, and they'll do what they want. If they say, look, it's too vague right now, we're not going to do anything. That's up to them. But at least we can move you to the next, the next stage.
To the zoning board.
Yeah.
Okay.
How does the board feel about that?
Fine.
It seems to make sense.
Positive from me.
So, are you guys all? So I haven't written it up yet because I've had internet issues and I haven't been able to actually write it. But do you trust me to write? I'll just write a basic resolution. If you're all positive, I guess maybe we should take a vote on. I'll make a motion that we give a positive recommendation with respect to this application for a area variance relating to the rear setback, moving the rear setback from 50 feet to 22 feet, and also the board has determined that any additional variances are not required at this time, and this is all conditioned on the applicant moving forward with the plan as submitted, something along those lines.
That sounds good to me.
Yep.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Okay, all in favor and announce your name, please.
Sarah Love, aye.
Art, aye.
Jerry, aye.
Justin, aye.
Paul, aye.
Okay, so moved. Okay. Sir, you'll be going to the zoning
Thursday.
board, and Arlene will give you a date when you're on. Okay?
All right. Are you working tomorrow, Arlene?
I don't have that date yet. You're gonna be with the August month. So I think you might wanna start working with Tom Cummings about, possibility about that. Right.
Okay.
The zoning, John Fenton, is John Fenton?
Yes, but you're not on the zoning board of appeals agenda, not till August. My meeting is already this Thursday.
Okay, I'll call you in a couple of days.
No, next August. I'll call you about it.
Okay, but don't I have to drop a check off to you for that?
A what?
A check.
Oh, yeah. I'll call you tomorrow. Yes.
All right, thank you very much, Arlene.
Bye.
And thank the board for me too.
There they are. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Good luck.
All right, thank you again. Bye-bye.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the Weedman demolition plan. Is anybody here for that?
You're muted, I think.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Evening. Okay, so can you hear me? I'm just verifying.
Okay,
Yeah.
who are we speaking with?
Paul Gates, I'm the architect.
Okay, hi again.
Hi,
Hello.
Mark Weedman's here too. Nice to see you all this evening. Thank you for the time.
Okay, just briefly explain your demolition plan, and we'll go from there.
Okay, I think we were called back. We were asked to provide At the last meeting, there was a resolution passed, as far as I knew, that we would have to provide some additional information in the form of a letter describing narratively further the use of the building. We did that. I think Mark provided a letter about the use. I provided a letter about the construction aspects of it. And we also submitted some updated drawings, including a demolition plan, which was not part of the original package, which describes in detail the dismantling and reconstruction of the existing barn. And in addition to that, the complete demolition of a small greenhouse next door.
Okay. Okay, Jack?
Yeah, we've actually done a fair amount of work with this since the last meeting, and I've got a resolution that covers the whole project, including the resolutions. We asked some questions of the CEO regarding this. He said he had no objection to it being a pool house. He thought if they were going to add water, then it had to go through the procedures for an accessory dwelling unit, even though he acknowledges that it's an accessory structure. I looked into this and had some discussions with Paul about it and got some information from Arlene. There is a formal interpretation by the ZBA that says that the customary use of a pool house includes a bathroom, in just those words. So it seems to me that adding a bathroom to a pool house does not require a going through all the hoops for an accessory dwelling unit, as opposed to adding a bathroom to a studio or a barn. And that seems to be a line that the ZBA has drawn in its discussions of projects to convert, for example, a studio to add a bathroom to a studio. And they've said, well, we disapprove that, and they distinguish the case of a pool house because a pool house customarily does involve a bathroom. So where I come out on all of this is that it can be done as an accessory structure with a bathroom because it is a pool house, and the CEO had no problem calling it a pool house. As to the demolition, clearly should have had a permit before the demolition started, but the applicant did talk with the building inspector, seems to be proceeding in good faith, and more importantly, the structure is being dismantled, which means it is a demolition, but it's going to be reconstructed using as much of the original beams as possible. So it's consistent with preserving the structure, and therefore, even though it has been taken down, since it's going to be reconstructed, I think we can give it a demolition permit at this point. The demolition permit for the greenhouse, I think, is easier. It's a decrepit structure. It has no historical value, unlike the barn, which the applicant says is maybe 200 years old, and that they are going to preserve. So all in all, after jumping through a lot of very legalistic hoops, I think they can do this. And I've prepared rather a long resolution spelling all this out, which I can go through.
Jack, do you have one resolution for everything, or?
I do. I have one resolution for everything.
That includes the demolition permit?
It does.
Okay, that's fine. Might as well get it all done at one
That's
clip.
my thought.
Okay. Anybody have any questions before Jack reads the resolution?
I just have one. Where's the pool exactly?
If you have the site plan drawing, it will show the proximity of the, there you go. So the barn we were just looking at, that's the pool you're pointing at now, and the barn is that building there.
Okay.
That was the photographs we were just looking at, or that structure.
Okay, and then what's the number one?
I'm sorry, number one. Number one is an existing pool,
The pool-
shed.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. Art, shall I launch into this thing?
Go ahead and launch.
I beg your indulgence, but it does take a little bit of time to spell it all out. Applicant BBH White LLC seeks a demolition permit pursuant to section 25093 of the Town of Clinton zoning code to demolish and reconstruct an existing barn and to add a bathroom and bar sink to the building on its property at 176 Schoolhouse Road in the Town of Clinton, long number. Applicant also seeks to demolish an existing greenhouse on the property. The total property is 143.19 acres, and the parcel on which the barn is located is 123.1 acres, is zone AR5. Applicant presented its project to the Planning Board's July 7th meeting and thereafter submitted additional information. Applicant states that the renovated structure will be used as a multi-purpose pool house. Applicant states the barn is adjacent to the pool, that the building will be used as a place to talk and play games with a few friends or family, to use a proposed new open fireplace in winter, and to use the pool house as a casual weekend office. Applicant's principal office and company are in New York. Applicant states the pool house will not be used for commercial or client purposes. Applicant's architect states while the existing tractor shed and cladding attached to the barn will be removed, the existing hand-hewn timber frame will be reassembled with a new foundation. New timbers to match the existing ones will be installed where the old timbers are rotted out. Applicant believes the existing barn is 200 years old and wishes to preserve its timbers to the extent possible. The existing greenhouse is of unknown age but in poor condition, has no distinguishing architectural features. The existing barn structure has been dismantled. Dismantling is within the definition of demolition in section 250.105. However, the purpose of the project is to preserve as much as possible of the existing barn and to enhance the structure by replacing rotting timbers. Applicant's intent, therefore, is consistent with the purpose of 25093 by seeking to preserve the building as much as possible, see 25093B and C2. Repurposing the barn as a pool house is also consistent with 25093, which states the demolition of a building involves the discontinuance of a particular use and ultimately the use of the property in a different manner. The proposed project has been submitted to the zoning enforcement officer in a message dated July 16th, 2020. He states that he does not see any issues with identifying the structure as a pool house. He indicates that if plumbing is installed, the structure should be defined as an accessory structure and must comply with 25029. 25029 deals with accessory dwelling units. Applicant denies the structure will be used as an accessory dwelling unit. 25022 concerns accessory structures. We conclude that even if the ZEO intended to refer to 25029 rather than 22, putting plumbing in the proposed pool house is within the more specific formal interpretation of the ZBA on October 28, 2013 that, quote, the customary use of a pool house includes a bathroom, close quote. While the ZBA has repeatedly ruled that plumbing is not permitted in an accessory structure because of the risk it may then be used as an accessory dwelling, the ZBA has explicitly distinguished the case of pool houses. CEG, the ZBA's December 1, 2011 discussion denying a request to put plumbing in a studio, but distinguishing pool houses where water is customary. While the property contains more than the 3 accessory buildings permitted by 25022, the proposed project does not increase the number of buildings on the property. The parcel history indicates that all the prior buildings have received permitting approval. Indeed, the proposed demolition of the existing greenhouse will reduce the total number of structures. 25083B states that nothing in the zoning code shall prohibit the extension of a permitted use to any portion of a non-conforming building or structure which existed prior to the effective date of the chapter. 25084 permits in existing non-conforming structures even to be expanded by up to 50%. We also note that the town's then CEO confirmed in writing to the ZBA some years ago that he considered a pool and pool house to be one structure. Applicant has submitted a short form secret statement. The planning board declared itself to be lead agency for secret purposes at its meeting on July 21st. I so move, and determine that the proposed project will have no or small environmental impact. The proposed demolition and reconstruction will do no harm to the character of the surrounding area or buildings. It will preserve the exterior of a possibly historic barn to the extent possible. Similarly, the destruction of the small and somewhat decrepit greenhouse will not harm the character of the surrounding area. Dismantling of the barn took place before the permit was issued. Applicant has apologized for this error and notes that it consulted with the building inspector before demolition began. Despite applicant's apparent good faith, a demolition permit is required. The planning board determines that in these circumstances, where the building is in the process of being rebuilt and will not be permanently destroyed, a demolition permit for dismantling of the barn may be issued at this point in the process. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the planning board of the town of Clinton hereby approves the proposed demolition and reconstruction of the barn and demolition of the greenhouse on applicant's property, subject to the following conditions. 1, applicants will obtain the approval of the building inspector and submit all forms required by the inspector pursuant to 250-93 for both the barn and the greenhouse. 2, the building may not at any time be used as an accessory dwelling unit within the scope of 250-29, but only as a multifunctional pool house as described above. 3, the structure may not be used at any time for commercial or client purposes or to conduct a home occupation as set out in 250-56. And 4, all appropriate fees will be paid.
Tracy seconds.
Discussion. Going once, discussion. Okay, all in favor, and please say who you are.
Jack, aye.
Tracy, I.
All aye.
All aye.
Justin, I.
Sarah, I.
Did I hear Jerry in there?
Yes.
Okay,
Aye.
so moved. Okay, folks.
Thank you
Very
very
good.
much.
Thank you very much. I think
Thank
the
you.
frame's as we speak. So
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Bye.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is the Lac and Winnaker Coyote Ridge discussion. Is anybody here for that? Mark? Okay. Is Mark with us?
The connecting audio.
Okay, thank you.
There's also a Bob who may be working with him. I'm not sure.
No, I think that was the same Bob earlier. He's having a hard time.
Okay.
This is his first time. He has to get his daughter to help him.
Is Mark with us?
He's trying to join. Does anyone have a phone number for Mark?
Yeah, I got it. I thought he was in before.
Mark W.
I mean, he's not new to this. He knows what he's doing.
Here comes Mark.
Come on.
Mark, unmute. There you go. Oop, you had it. Unmute again. Oh, yeah, you're okay. Go ahead and speak.
Okay. I just curious. So I'm not allowed in until my item's up?
It's up there. Isn't that yours?
I can't hear you, Arlene.
This is yours, isn't it?
I haven't been able to, like, I've just been waiting.
What do
So
you mean?
I had no idea where it was on the agenda, but anyway,
Wait, Mark, you are up, you're on the agenda. This is your application here, right here, your
yeah, I
discussion.
know, but I've been on Zoom since the beginning and I didn't know when I was going to be on.
Oh, you didn't see the agenda? You're the last one.
Okay. Well, you're
Yeah.
on now, Mark. Mark,
Okay.
now it's ours. Okay.
All right. So, so the app, so at the last meeting had discussion for the same clients on the piece on the east side of this application. So the owners, Lack and Winokur, are proposing to purchase the adjoining property to the west. And so, you know, if you recall, our discussion at the last meeting was, you know, where the frontage was for Lack and Whitaker, and went and spoke to John Fenton and got that cleared away as where the frontage for the particular property was, and so what they've done since then is they've approached the owner on the property to the west, and they would like to purchase that. And one of the primary reasons for purchasing the property to the west is for construction of a driveway. And so if you scroll down a little bit on the plan, you can see.
You know what this? I'm just showing. I just want to show the two parcels next to each other. Can you see it?
What's that?
Can you
I can't
see my
hear you,
screen?
Arlene.
Can you see my screen?
I can see the screen. Yes.
Yeah, I just want to show the two parcels that we're talking about, because you could see it better here.
Yeah. So on the west, you'll see where I have a proposed driveway. Can you push it up, Arlene? There it is. A little more. No, down then. Push it down. Down. There we go. If you look at the two parcels, on the existing Lack and Whitaker parcel, the existing driveway actually encroaches on the property to the west, which is currently owned by DiDio. And so it would require a relocation of that existing driveway further to the east, or what they've decided to do was they'd like to purchase the property and install a driveway. And there's actually a driveway was cut in at one time. There was one that was excavated in the side of the hill. And what this plan shows is it would now be access for both of the lots, which would be, and these lots would be combined. These two lots would be combined. And it shows access that utilizes most of the driveway that's already been installed. It's substandard, it's not wide enough, and it doesn't have any drainage improvements that I've shown on this plan. They'd like to do that. And this driveway access also avoids any wetland disturbance. You can see to the west, I have it labeled. I've estimated where a piece of Army Corps wetland. There's no state wetland here. There's some Army Corps wetland. So it's avoidance of that wetland with all disturbance or grading. And so it would be an application to this board for a steep slopes permit. The driveway grade is about 12.5%, and side slopes are graded 3-on-1, both to the east and to the west of the proposed driveway. And the critical part of the application is what's been presented here. Lack and Whitaker are unsure of the alignment of the balance of the driveway once you enter into the property. And you can see I have a clouded, I have like 2 clouded areas. One clouded area is the approximate location once you get into the property where the driveway would go. And then a darker clouded area is where the location of the proposed residence would be. So Whitaker are in the process of, they're in contract with the DO, the owner to the west, to purchase this property, but they wanted to initiate a conversation with this board just to get some initial feedback on this board's thoughts of this particular application.
So when they're doing the lot line, are you going to continue to have it be 2 lots, or is that center piece going to go away and it'll be just 1 lot?
It'll be 1 lot. The lots will be consolidated.
Okay, I think the driveway plan, Mark, this is gonna have to go to our engineers.
Correct. Yes, yes, I do.
I mean, that's step 1, that we're gonna have to send this to Peter and get his opinion on it.
Okay.
How far along, go over how far along is everybody here on this plan as far as buying the property? Are they, you said they're under contract?
The contracts are signed. I think closing is within, it's soon, all right? It's, 30 days. The DO is anxious to close, and that's why I wanted to get this in front of the board. So it's, 30 to 60 days. That's all I have so far. But I know contracts are signed, and the deal wants to close right away. So, Black and Whitaker want to accommodate that, and so we'd like to, proceed. Make formal application and proceed with the with review by this board and its consultants.
Paul?
Yeah, I think we could refer to Peter for the engineering and any other issues. And even though it's not a formal application, we could set up an escrow and do that. Mark, we could do that now so that he could scope it for you.
Great.
Before you submit the final application. And obviously, when you submit the application, the CAC, we would send it to the CAC. So we could do that. Art, I think we could do that tonight if you wanted. I mean, it's up to, but I just was curious, Mark, why the existing road to the east isn't a better option than going up the slope. And it's not, and that's just a question. It's not a challenge or a confrontation. You know what I mean? I'm just asking.
Yeah. And so, Paul, so a couple things have occurred. So with this new alignment, we can better manage the stormwater from the site. And so as I got involved in this project, the previous owner had some issues with Walt Kuhn. And so Kuhn is located to the east of, you can see it, Kuhn.
Right.
And so they had they had some issues with stormwater running down onto Kuhn's property. And it led to a lawsuit and some concessions had to be made. And so that driveway would have to, I'd have to move it to the east without acquisition of this property. You know, that existing Woods Road that I showed there that you brought up. I'd have it move it to the east. I'd have some difficulty managing the stormwater as it comes down. It comes down on the east side of that driveway towards Kuhn's property. You can also see, if you look at the boundary line, the easterly boundary line of Lack and Whitaker, you can see Kuhn's driveway is already over that property line as you move north.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you see that?
Yeah.
And so this does two things. It does, with this, once I get into the property, I can manage the stormwater, hold it, retain it, and let it discharge to the west. And then what it also does is it provides privacy between the two parcels. This driveway location, the idea is to, you know, there is a little bit of grading on a hill. There's a hill on the east side of the proposed driveway. And so it's going to be cut down below that. So it's going to be hidden. And then once you enter into the property, it's no longer, you know, it's no longer visible between the two properties. So it's twofold. It's one for grading and managing the stormwater. And secondly, it provides privacy between the two properties.
Okay, that's very helpful.
Okay, I think what we need to do, Paul, is set up an escrow account because I don't think anybody here is qualified to make a judgment on that driveway because.
When has that ever stopped us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, let's just wing it.
Question. So Mark, you're not going to combine this if the driveway doesn't work. So why don't you do the lot line for us?
Well, we want it because they also want to know about the driveway. So that it'll be done. Oh, well, okay. So that's also a question. So so my previous conversations with Arlene, it doesn't require an application to this board for combining the two parcels. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think that's right. Isn't it, Arlene?
Because you're just removing a lot line, but you have to be owned by two property owners the same. So that means they have to buy it first and then they could combine.
Yes.
Removing the lot line. They could just go to the assessor and then the county record.
Yes. So they would all do that. They would do that simultaneously. So that lot line will be removed. The two parcels will be combined.
Okay.
And just while we're on that topic, I also posed another question to Arlene. I actually have another application, well, another client in the town where a town highway splits the land and it's on a single tax grid. And so he wants to split the property between the road. He wants separate tax grids. Does that require an application to the planning board?
Oh. Good question.
Well, remember, there's a question if it's a user road or not a user road.
Yeah, because it's you said it's a town road, it's a user road.
Correct.
Mark. So
yes, it is.
And
yes,
it's one tax. It's one tax number, and yeah, well, I'll throw it open to anybody else, but that to me is a subdivision because it's one parcel.
Okay.
You just have a user road through the middle of it.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Let's get
I know I got off topic there. Sorry.
Yeah, let's get back to this and set up an escrow account. And,
Okay.
We can move on.
Okay. So just let me know how much you need, and I'll have a check there tomorrow for Arlene.
I think
What do you think, Art?
Well, I've been involved in this property. Stacy and I have been involved in this property before. I'm glad Mark has taken some care in this driveway because it's always been a bone of contention. The original owner was not exactly forthcoming on some of the stuff he did. So this is gonna take, I think it's gonna take Peter some time on this. So I think we need at least $3,000 on this.
Okay,
And if we don't use it, you get it back. If we need more, we'll let you know.
okay, and so, and how do I get in touch with Pete, or is it okay if I
No,
communicate?
you gotta give me the check first, and then
Well,
I'm gonna talk to
yeah.
you about the check.
Yeah, I will. You'll have a check tomorrow, Arlene.
And then you give him the
I
packet.
think
Go ahead, Paul.
I'm sorry. Arlene, you usually don't you usually initiate that with Pete?
Yeah,
You send the package so
Yeah.
so he knows that we've
yeah.
approved his, yeah.
Okay,
Let's follow procedure and get all the information that you want to get to Peter. Give it to Arlene. Arlene will then get it to Peter and let him know that this is legit, that he should start working on it.
okay, Arlene, do you need another package for Pete?
Yeah, another set of packet, a big map, and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Okay, I'll drop, should I just put it in the Dropbox tomorrow?
Yes, give him the narrative of everything that you're trying to do, a
Yeah,
detailed narrative, this way he
okay.
knows what you're trying to do.
And it,
I'll have to check.
this is go ahead.
Paul, just make a resolution, please, on the escrow.
Yeah, so in the matter of Lack and Winokur, I move that the board establish an escrow of $3,000 for retention of the town engineer and any other consultants who may be necessary, to consider the application materials.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Art,
All
aye.
right.
Justin,
Tracy, I.
Sarah, I.
Okay, so moved. Okay,
Okay, so Arlene, I'll drop that off tomorrow, and I'll have the check in the package also.
thanks, Mark.
Hey, Art,
Yeah,
Mark.
you mentioned that I didn't have all the details of what occurred with the previous owner. All I knew that there was drainage, that they had some drainage issues, and then there was a lawsuit.
this goes back, what, Stacy, maybe 20 years now,
Easy, yeah.
18 years? Well, what he did originally, he clear cut the property
Oh, okay,
and everything flowed into the farm down at the bottom of the hill. So it was pretty interesting.
well,
So, but I'll fill you in at some other time,
okay,
what was going on there.
all right, great, thank you.
Nothing with the current owners. It was the original owner.
Okay,
Okay? All
all
right.
right, thank you very much.
Thanks, Mark.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. Website, okay, what else we got here, folks? We got, minutes.
Yeah, it's May 5th.
Has everybody read the minutes? Okay, can I have a motion to approve the May 5th minutes, please?
Justin, so moved.
Okay, discussion? All in favor?
I.
Aye.
Tracy.
Aye.
A motion on 6:16 minutes, please?
Justin, so moved to approve.
Okay,
Second.
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Pollock.
Aye.
So moved. Okay. Anybody else, have anything?
Do we have Dean or no? I don't see him. Dean Micah, he's not around. He's not here, right, Dean?
No.
Okay.
That's it. Jack, thank you. That was,
Wow.
I had to get it.
It was
I had to go in and shave again.
long. Sorry about that.
Thank,
The
nice job.
lawyer in me got away from me. I apologize.
No, it was very good. Thank you.
I wanted to ask you to read it again.
All right. Okay, motion to adjourn.
No move.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay,
Aye.
thank you, everybody. Nice job tonight.